Snipers, you have to see what's happening to the Bitcoin price this Monday as we have a new weekly open and some new market structure to discuss. And we're going to learn a lot today because here on the 4-hour chart, I want to talk about what happened yesterday when we came up to 65,600, which was the extremely important level that we were watching. I always say that we want to wait for 4-hour hourly confirmations in order for us to assume a level has truly been broken. And notice how yesterday we did not get any full 4-hour candles, bodies and wicks above 65,600. And so this was a very big puzzle piece, especially when you start to see the candlestick symmetry. Notice how the first 4-hour candle that got above had a bearish tail and a body pointing down, and that's why we've so far rejected 65,600. We are still in an extremely important range, but now we actually have a very important level here, which is the previous weekly open at 63,300, which is going to be the most important support level right now for Bitcoin as we start to see a potential test of this extremely important area. And remember, if we break from this area, the likelihood that Bitcoin comes down to test the $60,000 to $59,000 level becomes extremely high, especially with this market structural channel that we want to follow now, assuming this was a higher high from the initial high that was formed here on October 20th. And by the way, for those that have been tuned into the Snipers channel for quite some time, I'm going to be more specific about the daily price action for Bitcoin instead of repeating different support and resistance levels that we might have been watching over the last few days. So you're really going to want to stay tuned to our videos on a daily basis. I want to make sure that there's new content and new information with every video. So we're going to be a lot more intraday focused and talk about things like what's happening today, where we did see that test of 65,600, but we've yet to see a full 4-hour confirmation above that level. So 65,600, if we can get above this resistance area where this is pretty much the consolidation zone that we've fought through since we saw that institutional sell pressure on the 6-hour chart. Once we get 4-hour confirmations above this level, we can assume continued price discovery for Bitcoin. And then of course, this is an extremely important support here at 63,300, that if we were to start to see 4-hour and hourly confirmations below this level, the likelihood we come down to test 60,000 becomes highly likely, potentially even down to 58,353, but that would be the worst case scenario. And so this is what's most important for Bitcoin. Of course, if we can get above 65,600, Ethereum will have the chance to move up. And if we break below 63,300, we have to see whether or not Ethereum is going to hold up against Bitcoin or if it's going to actually see more downside than Bitcoin. And based on what we're seeing so far with the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, it looks like we're seeing some weakness. We have these lower highs forming. We're failing to form new highs here. And so that would be a very big deal. If Bitcoin breaks 63,300, that we could see Ethereum actually see a lot more downside. But if we start to see Bitcoin get back above 65,600, then we want to watch to see if we can get above this previous weekly open at 72,900 Satoshis. Because if we do, that could actually mean that Ethereum may outperform Bitcoin if there's that upside scenario on the table. So a lot happening. And of course, this is a new week. So we have new previous weekly opens on our Bitcoin dominance chart as well. You can see we have 43.09% as a very important support level. Bitcoin dominance actually has been forming these higher lows, so it looks a little bit more healthy to see upside than the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, and that wouldn't be a surprise for those tuned into the Snipers channel. We know this is extremely correlated to the DXY chart, and of course the DXY you can see here on the daily chart forming new yearly highs today, and this was the puzzle piece that allowed us to predict Bitcoin's short-term top so far at 69,000 when we initially saw the DXY move up with the inflation numbers. So we're seeing continued price action to the upside. So that is to note as a negative puzzle piece for the cryptocurrency market to see further upside. But that's all going to depend on that very important range of 65,600 and 63,300. And when we go to the S&P 500, you can see traditional markets also showing a little bit of strength, actually getting above the previous weekly open. So we're going to want to monitor this, whether or not we can form new highs here, or if this becomes a lower high. That's going to really unfold over the next few days. So stay tuned for that. But if the S&P 500 does see some weakness, that wouldn't be a good puzzle piece for the cryptocurrency market. But if we can break to new highs, that would allow the environment to allow Bitcoin to potentially even see further price discovery and new all-time highs. And then not much going on with traditional markets, but we have to start watching gold pushing up on a daily basis here since we saw those inflation numbers come up and the DXY also starting to push up. This can indicate some fear in traditional capital coming in and hedging away from higher risk assets. And so that would certainly affect Bitcoin's price if it also affects the S&P 500 and the DXY chart here that factors in gold's value against Bitcoin. We've failed to form new lows, and that was a confirmation that we're starting to see a little bit of a slowdown with this price discovery for Bitcoin to the upside, but nothing to be worried about yet. If we come to the 50-day moving average, that would be something that we would have to address. But if we form further lows, that will be a confirmation of more fuel for Bitcoin to see upside. So a lot kind of stirring right now, which is exciting. We had a very successful week of altcoin trades in our Discord group. We have the #1 cryptocurrency Discord signals in the world. You can see we took advantage of Helium, Cosmos, Kusama, and many other altcoins this week. And so we do plan to send more altcoin trades out as long as Bitcoin can show some strength here above 63,300. If not, we may have to move to the short side for a short amount of time. But of course, remember, shorting is a lot more risky when there's unlimited downside versus going long where there's a very limited amount of downside. So we don't want to be short. And of course, if we come and test this major area here at 60,000 and we see some strength, maybe if we start to see institutional pressure the same way we saw the sell pressure on the 6-hour chart come around this area here at 60,000 towards the monthly open at 61,844, then we can potentially assume that that's going to be a confirmation that that's it for Bitcoin. It's going to go continue further up, and then that would be the best time to start trading altcoins. So you just want to be careful when Bitcoin dominance is moving up when it comes to altcoins. Really what you want to pay attention to is when Bitcoin is seeing downside, that's not the time to be going long on altcoins, but when Bitcoin is seeing upside in a consolidation, that's the best time to go long on altcoins. So a lot stirring in the market, a lot is going to unfold. And with that being said, I hope you guys like this new style. I'm not going to just repeat the same content when it comes to support and resistance levels. This is important every single day. I'm going to be more focused on the intraday and what's happening within the 24 hours that our video comes out. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I appreciate each and every one of you. And until next time, it's going to be an exciting week. Snipers.